Okay, so I want to break this down, Archbishop. I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to make sure that you're answering the question that I'm asking. I'm asking personally, as the Archbishop, did you ever make any report of suspected sexual abuse between 1977 and 2002 to civil authorities?
Yeah, I can't recall ever doing so personally.
Did you ever direct that any official under your control actually turn the information that you had received or that the Archdiocese had received concerning sexual abuse over to the civil authorities so they could investigate it?
That happened later.
When is the first time that happened, Archbishop?
Oh, I couldn't tell you, but it was probably in the 90s.
So is it your testimony that you and Archbishop Dolan have really never discussed the issue of sexual abuse by priests of the Archdiocese and what you knew and when you knew it with him?
We've never had any kind of discussion about that.
Okay, fair enough. And when you learned that he was a convicted and accused child molester in active ministry in your diocese, did you ask your predecessor or any other official in the Archdiocese, how many other priests do we have in ministry in the Archdiocese who are offenders or who are suspected of having abused children and we know about it?
I don't remember ever asking that question as you formulated it.
I'm going to show you Exhibit 103B. This would be a judgment of conviction and a sentence withheld where probation is ordered. And this is the official court record reflecting his finding, and it's Judge Warren A. Grady at the lower left, you'll see. And the district attorney is James M. LaPointe, at least as reflected by this document. Is this the judge and the DA that you were faulting for having allowed Widera to continue in ministry where he abused youth?
If he was the acting judge of the case, yes.
But 107 is a response from Father Tyson to Mrs. Flood, dated February 19th, 74. And you'll see in the second paragraph, second sentence, he says, and this is Tyson now as Executive Secretary of the Personnel Board, "We are happy to hear that he is doing well in school and shows so much interest in children." When you see this, Archbishop, would you agree that Father Tyson, the Archdiocesan Personnel Board, had an obligation to Mrs. Flood to tell her that Widera was a convicted child molester?
I don't know if it was necessary to tell Mrs. what was her name, Flood?
Yeah.
But I certainly do think that somebody, probably the probation officer, should have been alerted to this.
In all of these cases where priests offended children and they were sent for treatment on your watch, you allowed each of these priests to continue in ministry in some capacity, did you not?
Yes.
Before 1992, is it fair to say then, Archbishop, that the practice was to put the priests in ministry, back in ministry, either a parish or a chaplaincy, and not tell the laity that you knew that he was an offender?
I would say that was the practice. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's one issue, and I think that's that's real. But what is also evident here, wouldn't you agree, is that all of the energy is given to the protection of Father Widera and the reputation of the Archdiocese at the peril of the children.
At the peril of the children, yes, that's true in a way.
Do you have any information, Archbishop, that the archdiocesan officials then informed the probation office, under whose supervision Widera remained until this date, of the fact that Widera had re-offended?
I see no indication of that.
Well, Archbishop, I think I'm hearing you say that if you would have informed the parishioners of the known risk of a priest such as Widera, you never could have assigned them to a parish, because people wouldn't have it, right?
Right, exactly.
And so what the practice was to not tell the people and assign them, hoping that they would not reoffend, correct?
Hope is a too modest a word.
Let's making the choice to take the risk that they won't reoffend.
Does that work? With safeguards, yes.
Okay. Is the doctrine a manifestation of conscience, in your view, an admonition against asking somebody like Becker, did you abuse kids?
Yes, it would be. He would not have to have answered that in the affirmative to his bishop.
Would it be some kind of violation of norms, protocols, or law for you as the Archbishop to ask your priest that question?
As far as I know, it would have been contrary to what a bishop has a right to ask of a priest.
My question to you, Archbishop, is did you ever ask Franklyn Becker the question? Did you abuse kids while you were my priest?
I never asked him that question as you've worded it, no.
And why not? You had suspicions.
Yes, but it's like asking all kinds of questions of people. Do you have a right to ask them or don't you? I didn't think I had the right to pose a question that way.
Was this information, his apology and admission to you that he had become involved with this boy, as he writes, ever made known to the police by you or any of your officials?
Not to my knowledge.
Who did you tell at the parish where you assigned him in 1980 that you had already known and learned that Becker was a child molester or a molester of minors?
I can't recall that I ever told anybody in the parish this. And in 1980, I don't think it would have been done. Hindsight is easy, knowing how he turned out. But at that time, I can't recall that there would have been any.
And it's fair to say that you didn't make that warning and or disclosure to the parishioners because of a variety of things. One of those I've heard you say is that you treated priests like family members, right?
That's true.
Then beyond that whole family dynamic that you described, treating Father Becker as a family member, a member of your family, not just of faith, but like blood, what other explanation do you have for not